Hello YouTube, it is Chris here, and in today's episode we're going to be discussing my most recommended survival gear for under $30. Welcome back everybody, and thank you for sticking with me. Like I said, today we're going to be discussing my most recommended survival gear for under $30. Now, there are thousands of awesome budget-priced items for the outdoors and camping out there, but keep in mind, we can only discuss and talk on gear that I've actually tested, owned, or used previously in the past. The first item up is a power bank, and I never thought I'd be talking about a solar charger on the channel for under $30, but this is the Feely 24,000 milliamp hour solar charger battery. This is a tough battery that is water resistant, has a flashlight rocking on the back. Now, with that said, it does come with a solar panel, and I've seen ones that only have a solar panel right here on the top like you see from a lot of other ones, but this one has two additional panels for a little bit quicker charging. It is rocking two USB ports on the top and a micro USB to charge it up, and that's why I think it's a little bit on the more budget friendly side, because it hasn't upgraded to the higher end specs that we're used to seeing from things like USB-C and some of the more flagship tech that were from a lot of things that you'd be charging with this. However, it is extremely powerful, water resistant solar charging, and in my experience so far, I absolutely love it. So the next item up is a pot handle grabber, and before you click off this video, this is a little bit different and actually is already on Kickstarter. So this comes from a company called Outdoor Element. This is called Handled. Yes, it is a pot grabber, but it is a little bit more. For all you guys who like to do day hikings, use jet boil stoves and your butane fuels, this has a recycle tool for your butane stove canisters. This has an adapter for the standardized sizes that has a small gas evacuation port, so when you're done utilizing it, if you're not going to be refilling it, you can make sure all the gas is evacuated and for safe disposal, so you're not violating any of your local laws or ordinances at national parks or even in your city. You can poke the holes in there, ensuring that there is going to be no explosive or dangerous gas or chemical hazards when you're disposing of it properly. Next up is my professional butane stove. Professional is a loose term considering this is under $30, and most of them are. If you look on Amazon, regardless of the brand, whether you go with Coleman or another company, they all range about the same, anywhere that $25 to $35 price point. Now, not only are they good for overland camping, or you're going to be using this for emergency preparedness like you saw in a previous video we did about a month ago, these tools are amazing because they let you cook hot food off-grid in more of a kind of civilized manner. Though it is amazing to do some bushcraft camping, every now and then people like to grab some plates, utensils, have a more civil dinner given the fact that you're not showering for 5 to 6 days at a time. Next up is a hand axe. This is the Fiskars X7 for like 25 bucks. Comes with a hammer pommel on the back end. It's got a nice thick stock, so when you're using it to cut and split wood, especially when you have a smaller handled axe which is only like 15 inches long, this will get the job done. It will take a little bit of love on your part when you first get it and sharpen it up, but for the task of getting what a hand axe does, this thing will get some serious work done. Now, this item is just a smidge over $30, but bear with me, this piece of kit is awesome, and it had to be included in the list because it's just such a powerhouse. This is the Pocket Super Shelter by my buddy Mikhail, the owner of Merkworks. He is the designer of a lot of gear you've seen on my channel over the past few years, and this is the first portable shelter that I've ever seen that is designed to not only help you fight the 5 mechanisms of heat loss, but it is one of the first pocket emergency shelters to give you the ability in a short-term situation to actively gain heat back in extremely cold environments and temperatures, which could be critical to you making it through the night. The next item up is the Chums wallet. This is an EDC item that I have spoken very highly of on my channel several times. You guys saw this in one of my latest EDC videos. I can't talk enough about these because, one, they're made of a nice tough ripstop material. You can hold a ton of stuff in this little tiny wallet, but the biggest kicker for these is they're like in the super budget category, anywhere between $8 to $12 depending on where you're getting it. And I love these wallets so much that I literally own like 5 or 6 of them, because for like 50 bucks I can get a ton of these. So if these break, boo-hoo. But to this day, after 2 years of using them, I've never had a single issue. Next up is one of my favorite super budget multi-tools, and this is actually one of the multi-tools that causes me to judge a lot of the super cheap Ozark Trail ones from Walmart so dang harshly. This is the Guidesman Satellite LX multi-tool. Now, this one currently I've only been able to find this one on Menard's website, but this is an epic wallet. I think right now, from when I was looking, it's only like $13. You get spring-loaded pliers, decently ergonomic handles, getting a pair of scissors, you're getting a knife, you're getting a saw, you're getting all the nice little nifty things you need. You're getting a very decent set of pliers, respectively. Now, is this going to be like a Leatherman Wave or a free P4 or a Victorinox Swiss tool? Absolutely not. You will need to do a little bit of love on the knife end, but if you don't have a lot of money and you want a multi-tool that'll get the job done and you don't feel like you have to throw it away and it's not disposable, I've had this for about a year and I absolutely love it. Next up are a pair of leather gloves. These are my Wells Lamont gloves. Now, previously, if you've been following my channel regularly for the past couple years, I had these yellow ones that I've beat up to hell. And after 2 years, I had an $11 pair of gloves last me many, I think up to almost 100 days of hard work out in the field of moving and collecting firewood, building shelters, all the things you could think of. For a cheap pair of gloves that I considered almost disposable, I was on point. This has double stitching. I kind of went to more of that natural leather look, but they're really nice, they're soft, they fit really well, they're very durable, and they keep a lot of the nasties that I have to deal with in South Texas off my hands. So this is a lighter from a company called Smoke Honest. Now, they do sell paraphernalia for the people who enjoy marijuana, smoking a doobie, but it has a hidden compartment inside. And where my brain went was like, dude, I can stick so much fire tinder in here, and as you can tell, I totally did. But the one that I actually carry most often is the black one in my new EDC survival kit that I'm doing. If you want to see this episode, definitely make sure this video gets a huge lot of thumbs up on this episode, and we'll make sure this is the very next episode we do. But this is the lighter that I'm currently rocking in my EDC survival kit. It's not a windproof lighter by any stretch of the imagination, but it works reliably. And it is rocking the O-ring seals to help prevention of loss of fuel, which is important to me. And with the core that I'm using for my fire tinder, which is the cores for the 550 fire core that I got from 4 Directions Bushcraft, I'll link all that stuff down there. I was able to stick 26 pieces of tinder, and each piece of tinder will give me 30 to 60 seconds of fire, which is going to be incredibly important. So when I'm lighting up my kindling and getting a fire started, this could actually be out in the field with me for a very long time. Next up, in my opinion, one of the most legendary folding saws for the money is the Corona Razor Tooth folding saw. This is the 10-inch variant. I actually bought like 4 or 5 of these at Lowe's. You can buy these for like 18 to 20 bucks, but they are also on Amazon with a lot of different blade replacements. But the fact that you can compete with some of the top name brands out there for folding saws really cheap. I'm talking about 18, 22 bucks on a good day. It's amazing. Performs just as well as a Silky, has that great corrosion resistance with the SK4 chrome plated steel blades. Everything that I've ever come to know and love. I've put this thing to task in a lot of different series. This saw has been absolutely epic. So if you're looking for a folding saw that holds true and is freaking amazing, this is the one. This is the filled knife from a company called Gear Aid. They're known for like tent repair stuff, tenacious tape, a bunch of cool stuff that you've seen in companies like BattleBox and whatnot. And speaking of that, we actually got this from a company called the Big D Bag subscription service. And when they sent this, we took it out into the field, up into the mountains, and did a lot of little camp chores with it. And honestly, as you can see, some of the love it's been through, I didn't give it a lot of respect, but it was able to skin and process some fish for us, get some fire tinder built. Like, it did a lot of little work, and it stayed sharp the entire time. Next up is one of my favorite pieces of fishing kit. I actually brought this on my 30-day survival challenge when Zachary Fowler joined me down here in South Texas for 30 days in the woods. And I actually didn't get a lot of success with it, but we brought this up into the mountains with another series that hasn't aired yet. It happened right before the COVID-19 stuff went down and went all crazy, and we caught a ton of fish with this particular hand line. It is one of my favorite pieces of kit, but with this being so dang cheap, so portable, it can fit in your pocket. It's really thin, especially if you're wearing cargo shorts because you're getting ready to go to the water. This thing is absolutely amazing, especially if your pole breaks, your day isn't over. Next up is a flashlight. This is a flashlight. This is the AA battery one from Lamont. Now, for those, like I said, who follow my channel a long time, this is the AAA battery flashlight that I have beat up a ton. I keep it on my EDC. I love this thing. Now, this flashlight is no different. It comes with a silicone cap for more of a lantern exposure setting that actually glows in the dark too if you're trying to do some low light reading, map reading, things like that. It's a little bit bulkier, but you get a lot more power, a lot more robustness, and a longer battery life, but it's still super cheap. It's like a $17, $18 flashlight. Next up is another multi-tool. Now, this one says professional. and that might cause some gimmicky concerns, but this is the Koss Hanwei multi-tool. This is actually a shears-based multi-tool, yes, like tin snips, but this one comes with a set of pliers that does work decently well for light jobs. It's not going to be able to perform in the same realm of anything like your Leatherman Waves or anything, but if you're going for shear base because the job is job specific, but you need to grip onto something without cutting it, you've got that option. And then if you're just going to do some simple cutting, this is actually a ferociously sharp pocket knife. Next up is an item that's actually made it into a previous most recommended before, which is the Ratchet Rocket Light DX. You guys have also seen this in my EDC, where I actually keep this, a wrench, and some of my favorite bits that I use the most often on things like my scooter or bicycles, actually inside a chum's wallet, which is pretty incredible. And that's why it's on my most recommended list. It is designed for bikes, scooters, skateboards, things like that, for very, very light use tools. But having in a full kit that's really, really cheap, that's only like 25, 30 bucks, that you can stash away and forget it until you need it and keep it minimally concealed without taking up a lot of space, is why I love it so much. Next up is a backpack that I've used on a ton of different adventures from Roaring Fire Gear. So is this one. And though in most situations, most often these backpacks are actually a little bit more than $30, in some situations, by keeping this on my wish list, I found this as low as $25. They are grabbing some of the best overseas made packs I've ever used, from the double stitching, reliable Cordura, the Velcro itself. Everything works out in the field. I've taken this on multiple adventures in national forests, out in the woods of South Texas. I can't be happier for a budget pack. Next up is another item from the company Outdoor Element. This is their fire escape tool. This is a carabiner that you can just keep on a backpack, on your belt loop. It doesn't really matter where you put it, but it gives you a awesome spark wheel, so you can light up your stoves, emergency fire starting. It's got a very robust glass breaker on here, so if you don't have access to your knife, or this is the only thing externally you can get to or see or grab, you've got it. You have a seat belt / cordage cutter on here that's pretty substantial, that is designed to be replaceable if it needs to, but can be resharpened. It can hold 125 pounds, it has a hex bit, oxygen O2 tank. It just has a lot of versatility built inside a small compact design. Next is another hand axe. This is actually comes from a company called Schrade. I used to cover them a long time ago, and I kind of fell out of love with them because I started experimenting with higher end tools. However, with my love of budget tools and a lot of the weird series I've done on, like my $20 challenge and my Walmart survival challenge, really taking a second and third look at some of these budget tools and seeing what they can offer is kind of important to me. Now, this is a lot smaller than the Fiskars, but it's heavier because it's a solid piece of steel, and it hits really hard for its size. You're still getting the hammer pommel for tent stakes and some types of building tasks if you are limited on your tools, but this thing comes decently sharp out of the box. Now, you're not getting absolute premium materials, but if you're looking for a hand axe to substitute things like your folding saws in your get home bags or your camping kits, this thing will definitely be an awesome splitter for about 18 bucks. Next up is the Hydro Blue Clear Flow water bottle. This is one of my favorites. Pretty much every adventure you've ever seen on my channel that isn't some crazy weird ultra budget challenge, I have this bad boy with me. But I have taken this particular one on a bunch of different adventures and never gotten sick. This thing has been the bottle. This is the bottle that's been on a bunch of different adventures. What I love about it so much is it clears up all the nasty bugs in the creeks and the rivers and the waterways. Here in North America, just fine, but it's like 18 bucks. Next up is the Mini Fishing Boss Kit by Standard Outdoor Supply. Now, this is a super cheap kit, and you just need stuff that will work in most freshwater creeks and areas. This thing's got your back. You combine this with something like your Kabuya handline, there is a very strong chance that you're going to come away with dinner that night with persistence and perseverance if you're going out and fishing if you need to. So next up is a candle. Not just any candle. This is a 30-hour slow burn candle by Exotech using 100% beeswax. Now, why is this in there when you can buy a lot of different candles super cheap? Let's say you do not have the ability to start a bigger fire because you're sick, you're injured, you find yourself in a drastically, rapidly declining situation out in the woods, and you have your super shelter. You can set this thing up, get yourself into safety to try to mitigate heat loss, keep yourself sane and healthy and ready to go, waiting for rescue in that survival situation. But like I said, if you can't make it out of your shelter or it's too dangerous, you don't feel comfortable with it, as long as you got something like a lighter on you or a spark wheel, you can get this bad boy started. You can use this inside your shelter to regain your heat inside that greenhouse effect level super shelter. This is one of my favorite folding knives from Cold Steel on a budget. This is the PocketBushman. And I have been a Cold Steel freak boy since about 2010, 2011. This is a $20 knife that's giving you a really nice 4.5-inch blade. This one's made out of CTS BD1. This is one of the older models. Their newer models, I believe, are made of German 4116 steel. They're still using the ram safe lock. And for reference, this is one of my EDC knives. This is the extra large Espada by Cold Steel, but not everyone has $150 on Amazon to drop on a knife. But if you don't, and you're looking for something reliable for under $30, that's why you got this one. Outside of a lighter, this has got to be one of my favorite combustion devices to date. This is the Quadratum Elite Fire Steel by 4 Directions Bushcraft. But as you can see, it doesn't appear to have a ton of wear on it. You're like, Chris, blah, blah, blah. Dude, I have taken this on so many adventures, but this thing works so dang well, and it gets fire started so dang fast with really good tinder. I don't have to work that hard. This thing is going to last me years and years and years and years, and I'm still on the same dang one. Next up are the VanQuest Molly Sticks. Now, a lot of you guys have seen these over the past few years, and I'm kind of late to the party on these, but these truly are a much faster Molly attachment system for your packs and bags. I rock Molly all the time, and these things are amazing. Now, for reference, I've had a lot of time with Blade Tech clips. These are actually used for Kydex holsters, for firearms, but these things are fantastic. I love these. But though these do a little bit different function, you can weave these inside of your Molly webbing, but this particular device lets you attach and detach so much faster. Next up is one of the most underrated pieces of fire kit that I've ever seen in my life. This is from a company called Fiberlight. This is a ready-to-go kind of pinch and strike fire starter out there on the market. It is a wax-based blend that's all natural, non-toxic, but you basically just pinch it, zero processing, and it just works. However, you can dump water all over this thing, and it's not going to affect its effective nature at all in any way, shape, or form. And if you're not one of those people who like to fiddle and process your tinder because you're not in the bushcraft life, you just want to get a fire started because you're hungry and you want to cook that fish you just caught with a Kabuya handline, this is the way to go. Next up are survival food tablets by Prep Right Survival. But one of the things that really kind of got me interested in these is the fact that it's got a 10-year shelf life. Unlike the survival food ration bars that are in between $5 to $15 for a 3-day supply, these actually last twice as long. So I'm getting twice the shelf life. It gives you a lot of the energy and stuff you need. What I love about this is they sell it in multiple varieties. So if you just want something very quick and dirty, you can throw in a pack for just a day hike. You can take this, and this will kind of see you through for a full day if you can't get access to food and you find yourself stranded because you're on a mountain, the weather changed, you got to kind of hunker down until you get back to base camp. But if you find yourself in a more of a get home back scenario, and it could be several days before you get back to safety, they do make these bigger ones. This one is going to give you the full calories you need for a good 72 hour to 96 hour window to last you a really, really long time. Next up is a camp towel by 4 Monster. Now, you do like to jump in the creek and have some fun and go camping from time to time, and even if you're not about that survival life, but you kind of stumbled on this video anyway, this is an awesome compressed towel for you to check out. This is a nice microfiber towel that is super huge. It unfolds to just an absolute dumb size, and it soaks up, it's like a ShamWow, man. It soaks up a ton of water. I can get this on a really good day for anywhere between $6.99 and $12.99 on Amazon. Yes, please. So this is a grill by a company called Boundless Voyage. This is a titanium grill. If you want something small, something very, very, very lightweight, something ultra portable to be able to cook on a log or a rock after you're done caught your fish, this will fit some pretty good eater fish too. You're good to go. Next is another item. I actually got this from the Big D Bag subscription service as well. This is a neck knife. This is the CRKT Minimalist, but this is like the first time I've seen black on black on black from them, because I love black tactical knives. I do. I loved their green and satin finishes, but I love that dark stone wash and the black handle. Now this one's a little bit more expensive, but I love this because you can get a full secure finger grip in your hand on this knife, and if you're looking for a backup knife to keep on your neck that is literally truly minimalist, it's honestly, I mean, in that budget price point of $10 to $27, I'm telling you, this is a very, very, very awesome knife to look into. And this is the Epiphany's Fire Bellows. Though nothing more than a glorified tube to breathe hot air in to reestablish a fire or breathe life back into one, this can save your resources drastically, because as long as you can keep getting nutrition and water and keep yourself protected from the elements, you'll be able to keep breathing that crazy hot air of yours out of your crazy little lungs. But like I said, if you're looking for that one single tool, that one item for fire starting exclusively, I can't recommend this enough, because this has saved my butt so many times. Last but certainly not least is the Leatherman Squirt. Oh my God, have I shoved this thing in your face over the years so many dang times. We got that spring-loaded pliers. For small pliers, most people overlook them. They'd rather carry a big full-size multi-tool. But some people who are trying to go ultra minimalist and not take up a lot of space, especially when they're trying to squeeze something inside of something as small as an EDC survival kit, sometimes the full-size ones just won't do and let you maintain a low profile. But with that said, that just about does it for my episode of my most recommended survival gear for under $30. Now, if you like this episode and you found this gear useful, definitely give this video a thumbs up, and also showcase our EDC survival kit. Definitely make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our future episodes and content that we're uploading regularly on the channel. But with that said, hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and see you in the next one.